When I look at McAllen, like, it looks like we are 5 days down to knowing Mason Greenwood's fate decision to be made by Manchester United, and obviously it has been confirmed to us by the United correspondent for the BBC, that is Simon Stones. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokan David. United Matters channel is the YouTube channel, and endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a day. Remember, we strictly do United content, and we are also diving a little bit into Marco Silva, the manager of Fulham, interested in Fred after Fred tormenting him at Old Trafford being the reason that resulted into the 2 goals we scored against Fulham. Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, has gone ahead to really talk to Fred, and he wants him at Fulham next season. And lastly, Marcus Rashford has gone ahead and revealed to us who he voted, and that most important player that has been pivotal into this season of Manchester United. And it shows you that what we see as fans of United doesn't differ from what the players are really seeing, meaning that this player has been really pivotal into the season of 2022-2023. Now, yesterday I brought you a story of Erik ten Hag talking about Mason Greenwood, and this is what he had to say. He was having an interview with Henry Winter, who writes, he's a chief football writer for Time Sport, and he confirmed to him that Greenwood has shown it in the past that he's capable of doing that scoring front role, scoring 36 times in 130 appearances, but emphasizes it's not his decision as to whether he returns. So Ten Hag has gone ahead to confirm to us that it's not his decision to make on whether Mason Greenwood returns or not, and that has resulted into Simon Stone following it up with the story that Manchester United will focus on the Mason Greenwood situation after the FA Cup finale. Now, I think this is not going to take long. It's not going to take long for the decision to be made. Why? If the takeover process is really announced, or the preferred bidder is announced next week, that means a decision on whether Mason Greenwood is going to stay at Manchester United or not is going to be made by the new owners of Manchester United. But it looks like the decision has already been made. It's already in the envelope and waiting to be revealed. But there are lots of questions on whether he's going to be kept or not. There is one of the sounding reasons that are going to be so much pivotal into our season of the homegrown players. Mason Greenwood is one of those players that qualifies into that caliber of being a homegrown player, and United looks like it's not having very many homegrown players. If I'm to count the ones that we are really having: Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. Who else? You'll count Mason Greenwood, you'll count Facundo Pelostri, Amad Diallo is returning, there is Alejandro Garnacho, you know, those are 10. Which other? Anthony Elanga is a homegrown player. Kobe Menu is another one. There is this guy, Kobe Menu. So when you look at that team of United, it is really lacking like 2 or 3 homegrown players to match that number to 17 or 18. So that might be one of the important factors that might keep Mason Greenwood here. And I'm not even surprised that United wants to bring in 3 English players, because we are really lacking homegrown talent as far as the United squad is really concerned. Remember, we are supposed to be having between 17 to 18 homegrown players, and some of those have gone ahead to count, like Elanga and Facundo Pelestri are going to be loaned next season, meaning that we are going to be having a deficit of 2 on the 15 or 14 have gone ahead to count, meaning that if Greenwood is back and integrated to the squad, it will really help United to see itself in a situation of obviously getting Mason Greenwood back to the club of Manchester United. But that decision is a little bit tricky to be made, because when you look at Mason Greenwood, he's one of the best talents that has ever come out of the academy of Manchester United. That's it. It's no doubt. When you look at how he was firing in goals in his debut season of 2019-2020, 17 goals, then he followed up the next season with some good number of goals again. Mason Greenwood has found himself in a situation of catching the eyes of many and keeping very many fans of United on the edges of their seats. But what his girlfriend posted is really one of those things that went ahead to cause divided opinion into the fan base of United. The board is yet to make a decision, and I think next week is really going to be so much pivotal, because this week is ending on the 4th, and I think by the 11th of this week we would have gone ahead to know the decision that Manchester United have to make on Mason Greenwood. Why? They need to get this out of the way. They need to gate the ownership decision out of the way. So United is having two decisions to make. Mason Greenwood needs to know his future and obviously plan for the summer. If United don't make a decision next week, that means they are still having a divide amongst the board members on whether Greenwood should stay or Greenwood should go elsewhere. But he has attracted a lot of loan interest from different teams all over the world, in Turkey, France, Serie A, and very many other leagues all over the world. So we can't wait to hear that decision. That ultimatum is going to be made, all is going to be started on next week after the FA Cup. And I think between 5th and 15th of June, the Mason Greenwood long-awaited decision will be thrown in by the club on the website, and we'll be here to let you know what the club has gone ahead to really make of Mason Greenwood's future. So that's it, coming in from Simon Stone. He's really one of the credible journalists. He has been really a correspondent for United at BBC for a very, very long time, and that means being fed in by the club. The club has confirmed to him that after the FA Cup finale, that is on Saturday this week, United are going to embark onto really making a Mason Greenwood decision. That is it. So let's leave Mason Greenwood there, because we've got two big stories, one coming from Erik ten Hag that I brought to you yesterday, and the other coming in from Simon Stone, a correspondent of United at the BBC. Now let's do a story coming in from Samuel Lucas. He's a correspondent of United for the Manchester United Evening News. He has told us that Man United midfielder Fred has emerged as a target for Fulham. Intermediaries have proposed a possible move for Fred to Fulham, as United want to recruit a younger midfielder. Then Alex Crook came in and said Ten Hag could look to sell Fred this summer and look for young midfielder. Mason Mount is the favored choice, but moves for Declan Rice, Romeo Lavia, and Alex McAllister have not been ruled out. And then he seized it up by saying Fulham are interested in signing Fred this summer. Marco Silva is pushing for him, and Erik ten Hag could cash in to boost funds. That is a story coming in from Marco Silva. Coming in from Alex Crook. Now, how did this story come to maturity in the different media houses? There was a rumor that Marco Silva got out of the bus of Fulham and ran to the car of Fred after identifying him in the parking lot of Manchester United, and he talked to him that I would love you to be my player next season for Fulham. Now, after that, it was followed up with a story coming in from Samuel Lucas, then Alex Crook. When you look at that narrative, I don't believe that Mason Mount is a Fred. No. I believe Rabiot is a Fred. Mason Mount is a player who can come out and really play in a midfield three that has Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, or that has Rabiot, Bruno Fernandes, and then you add on Mason Mount. You cannot come here and really convince me that Mason Mount can play the double pivot with Casemiro. No way. And if at all you want to get the best out of Mason Mount, you have to shift that system to 4-3-3. He should be playing in a midfield three. That's it, according to me. And if it's the double pivot, it's better to be having Rabiot, Casemiro, and Mason Mount ahead of them. People have made arguments that Mason Mount can play different positions, I understand, but to me, the most important signing of the season is not going to be a centre forward. That's it. It should be a Casemiro backup. And that's why I'm sold onto the transfer of Rabiot. You know, if we can grab Rabiot and bring him in on a free transfer, that is going to be something great for Manchester United. Those are transfers we should get done easily, out of the way. And I'm so much discombobulated by Manchester United for trying to get in Mason Mount first. Yet there is a free transfer that can come in and really add more to the club. And Erik ten Hag is an admirer of Rabiot, and I think we should get in Rabiot first. After getting in Rabiot, I think we should get in Kim Min-jae next, then a striker, and then think of Mason Mount. That's it, because Mason Mount is not all that a special player. That's it. And as I've told you earlier, that maybe we are going in for those English players because of the homegrown talent, you know, deficits at Manchester United. But when you look at Fred, he plays in a double pivot. His intensity is really out of this world, and he showed us how good he is when he really assisted that second goal to Bruno Fernandes. Even the first goal that we scored when you're playing against Fulham, you saw exactly how he risked himself to pass through two players of Fulham, and one defender of Fulham ended up poking his boot into the ball, and it ran into the vicinity of Sancho, and Sancho made it count to make it 1-1. I think in the 39th minute, that's when we leveled the game as we played against Fulham at Old Trafford. So, Fred is a good player, and on any day, I would obviously go ahead and keep him in if I don't get in Rabiot. The only way I really sell Fred is when we get in Rabiot, and I understand Ten Hag wants to get fans to boost his transfer spree, but first getting Rabiot on a free, sell Fred, get like 25 to 30 million pounds. Let's count 25. You know, you add it to that of Scott McTominay, 30. That is 55 million pounds. Harry Maguire, like 35. That is 90. Dean Henderson, 30. 120. There is Brandon Williams. If we can get like 5 million pounds out of him. Eric Bay, and which other guy? Eric Bay and Alex Telles, 10. That will really take us to 140 million pounds. So this season, if United really manages to sell these players very well, we can really make 140 million pounds. So to me, Freddie leaving, to me, it's okay. 30 years of age, he has done his job, but we first need to get in Rabiot. That's it. Rabiot, or Caicedo. I'm not so much sold on the move for Declan Rice. If Ten Hag likes him, it's okay, but for my case, I'm not in there for you. But Fred is really a player that Ten Hag is really looking forward to really sell, to raise funds for the club of Manchester United, as Ten Hag knows that on the 100 million pounds he has, if he wants to go on and really get in more players, he first needs to sell to buy, and that 100 million pounds might find itself going on to only one player. That is the centre forward of Manchester United, or the new number 9 that Ten Hag is really looking at. Either Goncalo Ramos, Harry Kane, Dusan Vlahovic. I think those are the three that Erik ten Hag is really looking at. And lastly, the double award-winning player of Manchester United, Matt Busby Award, the Players Award. Marcus Rashford has revealed to us how important Casemiro has always been. He has informed us that I feel like Casemiro has done an amazing job since coming in, and he has made us a lot more solid. He's one of the reasons why David De Gea managed to win the Golden Glove, and we are just a lot more solid in the midfield. I like it when I see players of Manchester United thinking as we are thinking. That's it. When you look at Casemiro, he has been the most important player at the club of Manchester United. Amidst Rashford taking the 2 awards, I believe Casemiro has been the most important player on the pitch. And you've seen how we've always struggled with not having him. That's why I've told you that the first signing we should make should be Rabiot on a free. Get him in. Get him in as up, because if Casemiro is injured, Rabiot can sit into that single pivot, all defensive pivot, and play it very, very well. But I would like to applaud Rashford for really being in tune with us, the fans, because to me, I believe Casemiro has been the most important player of the season. That is it. So guys, thank you very much for watching this channel. Your thoughts on Greenwood's fate decision next week to be made by Manchester United, and your thoughts on To Fulham, and Marcus Rashford giving Casemiro his flowers. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living true God see you through the day, and my Muslim friends, may Allah protect you and really reward you abundantly.